Hello and welcome back to another episode of Simple Stories Theater. And in this episode, we bring you our random item of the day. And this random item happens to be chapstick. Or, well, this brand is Blistex. But, well, whatever. Chapstick can be used for many things. First, it can make your lips all good and not chapped so they don't, break in half and you're screaming, "Oh no, my lips are bleeding everywhere!" They can also shield your eyes from the sun, so you can put it right there and your eyes won't get hurt from the sun. And it can also be used as a sword. See, it's a really small sword, but you can take that, you evil demon. And that's our random item of the day, which is chapstick. Now on to the story for today. And today's story is called A Date with a Snowman. Ooh. What is the snowman about? Is he handsome looking? Does he have a unibrow? I wouldn't really wonder. Well, you'll find out. No, he doesn't have a unibrow, by the way. So let us begin with A Date with a Snowman. Once upon a time, there was a woman having a jolly old time outside in the snow, 'cause it was winter, and it was almost Christmas, even though technically right now Christmas is past. But this is Storyland, where anything can happen. Ooh! Anyway, she was building a snowman outside. She was taking some snow, and then plopping it down, making herself a nice snowman, using our hands all like this, make the snowman all good like and such. And he was round on the bottom, round in the middle, and round on top, because that's how you make a snowman. Unless you make it like a square on the bottom, square in the middle, and square on top, then he's a robot snowman. Do you want to make a robot snowman? I do someday, even though that would probably be the hardest snowman to ever make. But who knows. Anyway, after she was done making the snowman, she gave it some eyes with some beads or something. She put a little carrot in the middle and gave it a nice smile with a red crayon, I guess. Even though that was really not a good choice to make a mouth with. Anyway, after that, she was like, "Aw, he's the cutest little snowman there ever was. I'm gonna give him a big hug." And she wrapped her arms around him, and she was like, "Oh, I love you, snowman." And the snowman was like, "I love you too." And the woman, she freaked out. She's like, "Ah! The snowman is evil." She took out some mace quickly and sprayed it in the snowman's eyes. And the snowman was like, "Oh, my eyes! Why did you do that?" And the woman was like, "Oh, evil demons inside the snowman that I created." And then she reached into her pocket and she took out her giant spiked battle hammer and she started beating the snowman to death. And the snow was like, "Oh no, stop it, I'm not gonna hurt you." And the woman stopped. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I kind of overreacted. So you're not evil?" And the snowman, whose face was half gone and part of his body, was like, "Oh, no, I'm not evil." And the woman was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, I'll help put you back together, because we've got snow everywhere." And he was like, "Hooray!" So she got some more snow, piled it on him, and he was back to normal in no time. And he was a happy, jolly, good snowman. And the woman was like, "How in the world did you even come to life to begin with?" And the snowman was like, "Oh, well, you hugged me, and your magical boobs touched me, and you rubbed them on me, and that's how I came to life." And she was like, "My boobs are magical?" And he was like, "Yeah, they are magical. I'm surprised you haven't figured that out yet." And she was like, "Well, I don't hug people that much, and I don't rub my boobs on anyone. So, yeah, I guess I can see how that wouldn't have been found out until now." He's like, "You sure don't show anyone infection, do you?" She's like, "No, I'm kind of a loner, I kind of wish I had a date." And Snowman was like, "Hey, I know some way you can make up what you did to me. We can go on a date." And the girl was like, "Oh, really? I would love that." And he's like, "Yeah, let's go on a date tomorrow, 9 p.m. at that fancy restaurant over there." and they looked to the restaurant and saw it was really fancy. And they were like, yes, let's go to that restaurant. And so the date was planned and set. And they went home until they could go on the date. And they slept like good little children, even though they were adults. Anyway, the next day came by eventually, and the girl got all dressed up, looking sexy and crap. She had that good dress, I guess that was red, because she wanted to wear a red dress that day. And it was kind of sparkly, but not too sparkly. She wore her high-heeled shoes, got on her lipstick, got on her eyeliner, and all that stuff. And I can't forget earrings. She was looking all pretty and dolled up, just so she could meet the snowman and have a wonderful date. So she went to the fancy restaurant. She got there, and she sat at the table, and finally the snowman came in. And they were sitting in the most cold part of the restaurant, just to make sure that the snowman wouldn't melt, because that would have been travesty, yay. And so they were sitting there, and they were ordering their dinners from the guy who was taking the order. And then the snowman was like, oh, I have something to tell you before we get on with this whole dinner thing. She was like, what could it ever be, magical snowman guy? And the magical snowman guy was like, I'm pregnant. And she was like, oh, what? How is that even possible? And the snowman was like, oh, don't you understand? When we had sex, I had got fertilized and the baby started growing and now I'm pregnant. And this girl was like, you do realize that, well, I couldn't possibly impregnate you. I'm a girl, first of all. So, yeah, we can't really do that. And the snowman's like, oh, okay, I admit it, you found me out. You didn't have sex with me. I was having an affair the whole time. And the girl was like, what? We haven't even known each other for like a day. How could you have an affair with me already? And the snowman was like, I know, it's horrible. But when you hugged that toaster that you loved so dearly, it turned magical, and I had sex with it, and it impregnated me. And she was like, how could you do this to me? And the snowman was like, well, lady, maybe you should stop hugging things so much. I mean, you hugged me first, but now you're going on like this hugging spree and making everything alive. I blame you on this. The woman couldn't believe what this snowman was telling her. You're calling me a whore, aren't you? And Snowman was like, wait, no, I'm not calling you a whore. And the woman was like, yes, you are. Flamethrower. And he's like, no, don't shoot me with your flamethrower. But she did anyway. She turned on the flamethrower and melted the snowman and his unborn fetus. Until, yeah, they were just piles of water, unfortunately. And then she just couldn't stop her rage. She kept going around and around, shooting her flamethrower everywhere, and the whole fancy restaurant burned down. And it all collapsed. But luckily she survived. She came up from under the walls and the ceiling of rubble and stuff. And she was like, I guess I survived. Thank you, flamethrower. What would I ever do without you? But then her flamethrower came alive because she touched him with her magical boobs. And the flamethrower is like, I love you too. And she was like, maybe I should stop hugging so many things. I should contemplate this more. And she went home to contemplate more about her hugging situations over a cup of coffee. And that was the end of A Date with the Snowman. I hope you enjoyed it. Did you enjoy it? And don't forget, today's random item is chapstick. And chapstick can be used for many things. It can even be used to put on your lips if you're deciding to go on a fancy date with someone. Even though lipstick would be fine, but I guess chapstick could work. I mean, it's better for your lips anyway. So yeah, use chapstick instead of lipstick, because that makes you hot and sexier. I hope you enjoyed our Simple Stories Theater. Now I must go and do many fun human things that are not related to snowmen. I shall see you later. Goodbye. Don't forget to like, comment, favorite, subscribe, reblog, Twitter. I don't know what else you could do. Yeah. Goodbye.